and it's all yours.
Okay, well, hello everyone. First of all, I'm going to share my screen. And 1 second. Okay. Oh, 1 second. Okay. So, well, we are Samantha and Rosanna, and this is our final project of the bootcamp. As all of you know, we did it in 3 weeks, and we are from the full-time bootcamp. So, well, what we we wanted to explain how we work it as a team, because as you all know, it's not always easy. So, well, we try to be very organized. We kept a Trello board. We communicated in the regular channels, Zoom, Slack, and then we try to explain the code to the other person every day, so we all understood everything about our app. And also, if we had to implement a new feature, we will take turns, so one or the other could always investigate and learn new stuff. So, well, about our app is an app that lets you borrow things from the people in your neighborhood. So instead of buying something that you're just going to need once, you can just borrow it from someone else. And well, we took inspiration from other apps like Wallapop, which is of course a buying, not a borrowing, but we took inspiration from how they display the products or the filters, and also some other apps. But what makes ours different is that there's basically no money involved. There is a point system, so you have to have points in order to borrow something, just to prove that you are a trustworthy person, that you return the products, but you don't have to pay. It's not like renting. And then whenever you upload a product, so make a product available to be borrowed, you will earn these points so you can borrow for the other people. So you're like giving back to the community, and it's great for saving money and from the environment as well. So here we have a page explaining a little bit about the website, the different steps, and also how it works. Well, you upload the product, someone else requests it from you, and if in those dates is available, you accept it and you earn credit. So that's basically how it works. And well, when we were designing how the website will be and the routes, what we did was basically, we decided that the products should be available for everyone. So everyone, even if they are not logged in, will have the possibility to browse. But then, for example, if you want to borrow, you will be redirected to the login page immediately. So you will have to log in. Those are private routes. And well, now Rosanna will talk us through some technical aspects of the app, like the technologies that we have used.
Yes. Present. So the technologies we used for the front end, we used React and React Router, and we used Tailwind CSS for all the styling. Then we used Node.js and Express for the backend. We used the MySQL database and SQLize as an ORM to interact with the database. Then we used a couple of other libraries, for example, bcrypt to encrypt the passwords in the database. We used JSON Web Tokens to do the user authentication. We used a Multer to upload pictures. We use Google Maps for geocoding and showing the location on the map. We use Pusher for the chat functionality. And lastly, we used Heroku to deploy our app. Our database schema, so we use the relational database with 5 different tables. Here you can see kind of the relationships between the tables. First, we had a junction table between the users and the products, so a many-to-many relationship, because users can be owners but also borrowers. But in the end, as our app was growing, we started to store more and more information about the actual transaction between the users and the products. So we made the requests a full table in its own. So it's actually now two one-to-many relationships between those tables. So now we'll talk a bit about the main features of our app. So the first one is user authentication. I'll show the search and the filters and the query parameters and buying points with PayPal. So if we go back to the app, let me first log out. So we can sign up a new user, for example, Lisa. We have notifications as well. So if we type a wrong password, then we get the notification that the password or username is invalid. With the right password, we can log in. So first you see just all the products that we have in the catalog. We can load more as well. So it loads 20 products at a time, but for now, this is all we have in the catalog. So we can filter by category. And you'll see the filters reflected in the URL as well. We can filter by item condition, for example. And the fact that the filters are in the URL also means that we can refresh, for example, or share the link, and you will get to see the same products. We can reset the filters. And then we can use in order to filter by location, we have to use location first. So then you'll see that the coordinates of the position of the current device show up in the URL. So then we can see, for example, only the products within 30 kilometers of me, or 5 kilometers. So let's check if it's correct. So here on the map, we see where the product is located, and this is in the south of Spain, which is close to me, so that works correctly. And then we can also sort, for example, by newest. So then it will sort on the date the product was added. So this one was actually added today. And we can sort by distance. So then you'll see the products that are closest to you show up first. I'll show a little bit of the code. So this is the code for the filters. First, I'm basically getting the parameters from the URL in case somebody already had the filters set, so that they're set correctly. Then if, as soon as one of the filters is selected, this function will be triggered, which basically stores the name and the value in the filters. If the location is selected, then this function is triggered, which asks the user for their location. And then it sends, here I'm getting the query parameters and sending the user to this new search URL, which then sends a fetch request with those parameters to the backend. And when it receives the products back, it sends them to the product grid, which will show the right products. So on the backend, that looks like this. So here I'm first just getting all the parameters from the query or setting them to certain default values. And then I had to kind of construct the where condition and the sorting condition for SQLite. So if newest is selected, then it sorts by the created add field. If the distance is selected, then we're using this function, which basically calculates the distance between 2 points, the location of the owner and the location of the current user. And then that query is sent to the database, and we get the right products back. And then lastly, I'll show how to reserve a product. So we have this date picker here where we can choose the dates from when to when we want to reserve. So, and you'll see that some dates are actually blocked because those are already reserved by another user. So then we reserve. Oh, yeah, the new user doesn't have points yet, so we can buy points. We have a connection with PayPal. We're using the test account now. So you don't have to buy products if you give your products to lend to other people, then you earn credit. But if you don't, then you can also buy product points separately to borrow products from other people.
Okay, so now I'm going to go through. Oh, okay, finish with that first. Sorry.
Okay. Stop share.
We're not seeing your screen at the moment.
Sam, you're gonna show the.
Yeah, sorry.
You're gonna show the profile page?
Yes, yes. I'm sorry. 1 second. I wanted to go to the. No, I thought I had clicked. I'm so sorry. I'm just a little nervous. Okay, so now I'm going to guide you through the profile page. 1 second. Okay. Okay, it's here. Okay, so now I'm logged in. Well, I refreshed. Sorry, my connection is not the best one. I'm in the middle of the mountains. So 1 second. Or I can actually show it here as well. This is the local version. So, well, this is the profile page. It's here in the drop down. We have all these different options. And here, well, it's a dashboard. You can see all the stuff that you own, that you have available to be borrowed, that you have uploaded. You can update everything. You can delete things if you want. And also here you can manage your borrowed stuff. So for example, here we can see that Bob borrowed a barbecue and some floaties, and you can actually leave reviews, you can rate it. Well, the stars are actually a library, a component, but we wrote the logic to calculate the average score ourselves. And then this will appear in each of the pages of these products. So here, if we go, well, I'm going to see if this has loaded because this was the one that we were going to use. Just 1 second. Okay, in the meantime, or it's now here. Okay, now it's loading. Sorry, my connection. So now we have the request, and well, we can see that since Rosanna was using an account called Lisa, we have here all these requests that other users have made, and we have this request that Lisa, in this case Rosanna, has just made. So we can just accept them and they move down there, or we can cancel and they don't go anywhere. And And yeah, this is how we manage the reservations and borrowing the products in our website. And then the points will be updated for that user on their end. They will be deducted and I will get some points myself. So now if we go to something that I wanted to show is that we have a chat here, and that also we can modify the user profile can also be edited. We can upload a picture here. We can modify the address and it will be reflected on the map. And then, well, this guy doesn't have anything borrowed yet, but if we go here, we can see, for example, that there is a chat, because we didn't show this before. So there is a chat, well, this is myself, but you can talk to the user before you reserve. You can ask about the condition or anything. And then we also have a tab that is actually to see all the messages that you have. They are grouped by users, so you only see the last message that was sent. And so we click here and we see the chat. And now, well, Rosanna, Rosanna is actually logged in the other account. So I think that we can just chat a little bit. Yes. Yeah, so as you can see, this works. And well, yeah, basically it's that the products that the user add are added to their profiles. You can delete. There's a lot of things that they can do to manage the products. And well, now we are actually going, well, I was going to show some code about the chat, but I guess that you all know how that works because we saw it in the lecture. So, well, now we are going to talk a little bit about what we thought was a challenge and what we thought was a success about this project. So, Rosanna, if you want to.
Yeah, so in general, challenges were just using all the new technologies that we used. For example, we were working with Sequelize for the first time, with Tailwind for the first time. Also, first we did the styling with Bootstrap because we already knew that, but then we decided to change everything to Tailwind because we wanted to try something new. Of course, we had the Git conflicts here and there.
Especially
deploying,
yesterday, yes.
Yes, yesterday deploying to Heroku, configuring everything was not a smooth process, but in the end we made it. Also, we actually had to change the database add-on from ClearDB to JawsDB, which is a different add-on because we were using certain functions in Sequelize that weren't compatible with the version of MySQL that ClearDB was using. So we did that on our own, and yeah, in the end, it all worked. So we were never scared to try something new.
Yes, I think that was something super good about this project, that we didn't go for the easy thing. We just wanted challenges and more challenges. And actually, here are some things that we found that were a success about our project. But I think that the biggest one is actually that we were brainstorming in the first week, and we made a list of features that we wanted to add, and we managed to do all of them and even more. We kept adding more and more things. Our app kept growing a lot, and yeah, we are quite satisfied with it. If you want to comment some of these things, Rosanna.
Yeah, I think we didn't even have time to show everything now. There are a lot of little details that we added.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, you got to see the main features.
Yeah, we practiced and showing everything, like explaining everything, and the code was going to take us an hour, so we decided not to. And well, this is it, basically.
Lastly, we just wanted to say thank you to all the CodeOp staff and teachers. We learned so much and we had a lot of fun in the process. Also, I wanted to say thank you to Sam for being a great student. Yeah, I mean, it was. I really enjoyed working with you. We worked so hard every day.
And we support each other a lot, yes, during the frustration. And we are both workaholics, so it was really good too. to
Yes,
work with you.
we were a good match.
Yes.
Yeah. Also, thank you to the other students. We really enjoyed working with all of you as
Same,
well.
yeah.
I think we had a really nice group.
Yeah.
We're sad that it's over.
Very sad.
And thank you for listening.
Yeah, thank you all.
Fantastic. Let's jump to the other group now, okay? And then at the end, we can do some comments. All right. So the other group, you can take it, 21.
Okay, I'll share my screen. Okay. Okay. Hi, everyone. Thank you for taking the time to join the presentations today. Our team is Leah, Razini, and me. And it was a very international group, and we all were coming from different backgrounds, different strengths. So it was really fun to work as a team. And when we tried to organize our work, we also used Trello. But overall, we try to make sure that we do what everyone really wants to work on, and also made sure that everyone was challenged as well. They weren't doing things that they already know. And we tried to make sure each of us touches both backend and frontend at some point. So I think we succeeded in that, and that was a great part of it. And Razini is going to talk about the app more in depth. Razini?
Yeah, let me share my screen. So yeah, what the app we chose to do was a global charity finder. At the beginning, we were talking about different ideas and we all had very different interests. And then we found this global giving API, which had a huge list of charities that had been up to date and verified. And we thought it would be a really great idea to have a global charity finder so that people could find exactly what they're looking for in a charity. And I thought it was really cool because I found charities in my country that I had no idea about. And it's always kind of challenging when you want to donate to someone, but you don't know if they're a trusted source, if they're up to date, if they're respectable, if it's exactly what you're interested in. So that's why we decided it would be cool to have a global charity finder to help the world and connect people with deserving charities. We were looking at some other similar apps that were available, but we found that they were either very region specific or they were very complicated. So I was thinking if I give this to my mother or my grandmother to use, they would be very confused trying to use one of those apps because there were so many different pages and options. So we wanted to make something that was really simple and easy to use. We used a lot of, we used a lot of tech. We used, in the front end, we used React and we used MySQL, and then we learned SQLize, which was a new thing for us. Postman and Bootstrap for styling. We used Passport.js for authentication. We used Gitkraken a lot to organize ourselves, which really helped with the merge conflicts. Even though we did have some merge conflicts challenges, I think it would have been a lot worse if we weren't using Gitkraken. And we used PayPal to donate to the charities and Google Map, and then we built it on Heroku as well. And now Leah is going to talk about the app a little more and more stuff about the backend. Oh, we can't hear you, Leah.
All right, hello, can you hear me? Oh, that's really bad. I'm trying to get it on my phone instead. Here we go.
Not now. We could hear you before. Yeah.
Okay, so yes, the first thing we did was we connected to the Global Giving API. I'm going to share my screen. Okay. Did I just close it?
I think we lost Leah.
Yeah,
Leah.
yeah. You there? No.
Oh no.
Okay, I can share my screen and
Okay. Maybe you can share the screen, and if she can rejoin, we can wait for her. There's no rush. So let's
Yeah.
wait a couple of minutes. If you can share your screen, and then maybe she can talk over or something like this.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, we can. Let's wait, Leo. Okay, so well, I can talk about the DB schema in the meantime, because we were going to cover it together with Leah. So this is our final DB schema. We have projects which you could donate to. We have countries, so because you can select them by countries or themes, education, sports, human rights. We have users, and we decided also to use the junction table via the SQLizer, so that when users can add their favorite projects, and we can grab it using the junction table, which is really convenient. And we didn't have to store, we didn't even store anything on our front end, honestly. It was all using the junction table that we had to, that we could pull out the necessary data. Leah, is she back yet? Okay, if she's going to be back, she can just jump on, and we'll explain more about the app. So the main part was that you can search, and Leah did the search part, so she was going to explain more. But yeah, initially, if I open the code that Leah did, so in our API calls, we were initially, a lot of our code was initially using the API, and then, you can see that here. It's all commented out now because we decided to actually store data on our own database, because every call to using the API would take about 5 seconds, and it was rather slow, and Terminal also advised, and we thought it would be nice to store it in our own database. And Leah had experience actually writing seed scripts, so now all our calls are, calling to our own database. But if we go to seeds, you can see that in the original response was XML response. 1 second. And so this is the original ones. She also used the XML to JS package to transform it into JS. And then she wrote the script. The seeders is the script that we run. And basically she's using bulk create and bulk delete for all 3 themes, countries, and projects. And also, as the other team mentioned, our database schema evolved significantly as we were working. Initially, it was just project's ID name, that's all. Then we added more things. Also with Google Maps, we added Latitude, Longitude. And we got rid of regions and organizations because we weren't really using them. So it's cleaner right now, and also faster. Okay. Rosini, can you let me know if once Leah is back? I don't want to take all the...
Hello?
Yeah, sure. She's back. Yeah.
All right.
Sorry, I took
So
your...
that was basically it about the seed file and the database. The point was, I guess, that the global giving... oh, no. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I can't hear myself. Hello?
Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So global giving we originally used their API, which gave us data in a different shape, and we got to know the shape of the data. And so then when we did the database of our own, we flattened out and simplified the data and removed the things we didn't use, so it would take up less space because it's a very large file. And yeah, so we had to do the seed file in order to manage the large file and make it more usable.
Okay, and I'll take over from here for the SQLized the tables. Yeah, it was pretty straightforward if you were just to follow the instructions, but we realized, well, we did follow them, and we had a lecture on it, but we realized if you just type the command line that the SQLize says you should use to create the tables, it all is created in a class syntax. And we thought, it shouldn't really matter. Maybe it's the latest syntax. But then we ran into a problem that everything was supposed to be working. It wasn't, just because, we didn't, well, the class syntax wasn't perfect. You also had to do additional things for it to work. And we decided to just, for our modules, for example, we would just, now it's SQLize.define. Previously it was class country. And so that was one of the challenges we faced, and it wasn't as easy as it seemed, but it was also nice to use it, because it creates, it's pretty amazing. It creates automatic methods that we used. And next, so models. I'm gonna talk about the favorites. Oh no, wait, Rosini, were you? Do you want to go next for authentication? Because we were trying to cover the backend first, and then Rosini was going to cover the authentication now. Yeah.
Did you want to show the search, or you can do it?
Oh, yeah. Sorry for jumping really fast. So for search, for now you can just use a theme. We just called it goal. And you can just type one of them. Right now, the default one is Thailand, education, and you type the keyword teach. But if you want to update it, it will show you all the projects under the theme sustainable agriculture. And or you can select a country, Afghanistan, and it will show you everything for this specific country. Or by, let's say we did teach, by keywords and everything about teaching, or book, let's say. Yeah, so this, we updated, as I mentioned, Leah updated. Initial search was using the API call, and then we updated to our database. Okay. Razini?
Yeah, I'll just share my screen. Hang on. Yeah. Can you see my screen? Okay, so yes, we're on Heroku. So if anyone actually wants to use the app, you're welcome. So I thought it was quite cool that you could search for anything you want. So I just found that there's a charity for families and COVID relief in Sri Lanka. So it's very up to date. And we had a feature where you can add them to favorites, and you see them in their dashboard, but it's a private route. Oh, because I'm signed in, you can go to it directly. But let me sign out and I'll show you the authentication system that we're running through Passport.js. So if you want to sign in and you haven't already registered, you can register again. Oh gosh, and I always forget my password. Yeah, and then you can add things to favorites, and you can go to your dashboard and check check out your favorites and everything that you had added before this as well. And for the code you share, it was quite challenging and spent some time on it because we were using JSON Web Tokens before this to authenticate ourselves, and then we switched to Passport.js because we thought it would be easier and more versatile, but we had a few problems. We were trying to get it from the cookies, and then we moved back to, we use the local strategy from Passport.js, and then we authenticated using the JSON Web Tokens. We're also trying to use Facebook authentication and Google authentication because that's one of the cool things about Passport.js is you can add different types of authentication in there. But we didn't have time to change our database and set it up for using the information from Facebook. So that would be a cool future feature that we would like to implement. Yeah, so we go to the login system. Like you enter your details and it checks if you have a token, and yeah, that's about it. And I think Leah's going to talk about the filtered search. If she can.
Cool. Maybe Rossini, you could continue showing your screen with the filter search. All right, so as said, we started off with the API that allowed us to get to know the data, but we needed to change it to our own database because 5 seconds was too long to wait. After doing the seed data, we had to write a new route. So now we could go to Visual Studio Code to look at the routes. Thank you, Rossini. So our routes use Sequelize as well. Most of the username and password ones used the built-in find one, find all. In search and routes, I used a couple of raw Sequelize, well, they're not really Sequelize queries if they're raw queries. So just constructing the different fields and calling the database. And we got exactly the same results as with the API, but much faster, which improves the user experience. And now I think we can go back to, whose turn is it to talk? Oh, Shainar was going to talk about favorites, which also uses those routes and the database.
Yeah. So, and then I'll talk about the favorites. As Rosini quickly showed, you can see them in your dashboard. And yeah, you can also delete them from your favorites if you want to. And it's all, I'll just go quickly through the code. So 1 second. So first I'll show the front end. So I was prepared to show something else. So yeah, we're just getting the favorites if there are favorites, and deleting. So and also donate button, which Rosini will talk more in depth about. In our API.js, we can see filter search. Yeah, so we check if the user is logged in to get to add it to the favorites. Same for the delete, and also obtaining user favorites. And in the routes, real quick. Okay, yeah. So we are also grabbing the user ID using JWT strategy, and then we are using the junction table. Well, first we're finding the user, and then we're using the junction table to add a project. And same for get. We're also using the junction table. We're just saying include all the projects for the user, and delete as well. So this is for the routes, and Rosini is going to talk about donation part.
So, yeah. So we added an option to donate to your favorite charities to make it, well, it's a demo right now because we're not an authorized charity, so you can't actually send money to us. So we have the option where you can decide how much money you want to go, like the minimum is €5. And then once you decide you can donate, we get routed through to PayPal. Everything is a demo. If you do use our website, I suppose you could send me money. But we get rerouted to a PayPal site, which is a demo account that I created. And it shows you how much money, and yeah, reroutes you back to the thank you page. And you can go back to a dashboard. We would have liked to have some sort of graph up here that showed the different types of donations that you've done, and just like to keep track of the donations in your dashboard, but that's another future feature. So there's a lot of things we wanted to do but didn't have time. For the code for donation, we were using we used hooks with PayPal. So we got the PayPal library and used hooks to set the amount. And then you call the PayPal class and it sends you all this information through PayPal and you set in the price. And like magic, you can make a payment. Yeah. And now I think some of the other things that we have added was the map and the data snapshot, which I think Shainar is going to talk about.
Yep. So 1 second. So in the data snapshot, so as Rosini mentioned, initially for dashboard, we wanted to show users the specific projects they actually donated to, and but we wanted to start small and basically provide a snapshot for all the data, and we have 6,500 projects, and this snapshot here shows you that, so sorry, it's, you can see the scale exactly, but it's the maximum is like the x-axis is the goal, how much the project wanted to raise, and the maximum right now is 12 million. And the y-axis is how much they actually raised. So you see that a lot of yellows, and the theme is disaster. So natural disasters, you know, they raise the amounts that they need to raise is the highest, as you can see. And you see this trend line, and it's very clear. I didn't even have to insert a line. It's the projects that have met their goal. So when the y-axis and the x-axis matched, and we see a lot of them are in this area, and also you see just how packed and like a lot of them are in this field, and it's usually here it's up to $100,000. So a lot of them, the amount they need to raise is in this, falls into this area. And even if they haven't reached their goal, you see a lot of them are pretty close. So in the future, we wanted to make sure that a user can see if their donation is going to help the charity to reach their goal, and how far off the charity is right now. But as for the code, we used D3. So 1 second. Yeah, just always get, okay. So let me just move the zoom. Okay. Okay. So scatterplot, we're using D3, and the challenge with D3 was that it also likes to manipulate the DOM. And a lot of the examples are basically, you know, having the HTML and then the JS file, but not really with React. So the challenge was really adapting the examples you see even from the founder to React. And the main part with adapting it was used. So we created the custom hook called use D3. And what it does is it uses useRef, and we are basically trying to, in the HTML version, you know, we would just have in the HTML would have the SVG tag, but here use these three is basically we are having the SVG. It can take over the DOM here via this hook. And yeah, it's an equivalent to d3.select SVG here. Yeah, we didn't really have a lecture on this. It was interesting to just explore, because I think data-driven decisions are really great. And since we have so much data and we are storing it right now on our own database, it was fun to play around with it. So we are just quickly going through the code. We create the scale for x-axis and then for y-axis, and we are using logarithmic scale. Then we create the axes themselves, what kind of points they're going to have. And then we are also, when you see that it shows you, which theme it is, we are using the tooltip for that. And yeah, for the mouse movements, different methods. And then at the end, yeah, we're appending the circles. We also wanted to use zoom in and zoom out, and it was working. The reason why we decided to comment it out for this for the demo is that it really has a significant, it affects the performance a lot. And like even my computer was heating up. So we thought there must be, a better way to do it probably. But it was at least fun to play around with it. And in the return, we see the SVG and defining the variables, the width and height, and then the axis and the tooltip. Yep. And I think we have just one feature left that we wanted to talk about, which is map, and Leah is gonna talk about it now. Yeah. And I can keep sharing my screen, Leah. Yeah.
Hi, can you hear me? Okay, thank you, Shainara, for sharing your screen. Okay, so map was another thing we decided to play with. So automatically it detects where the user is if they give permission. And so we can see that Shainara is in Turkey, apparently, Istanbul, right? Then on the left, we can see the closest projects. Now, one of the things that was really great about the Global Giving API project was all the data that was available. But when it came to address, the data was a bit limited. So this very simple map uses longitude and latitude because some of the addresses wouldn't be recognized by Google. But the other problem we have, besides besides addresses not being consistent and not always having a result on Google, is that projects were not consistent about where they said they were located. So some of them, okay, it looks like the first couple there are actually in Turkey. When I run this on my computer, the first one is in Spain, but the second one is in Honduras. Well, they said the country was Honduras, the address was the US, and they put their longitude and latitude as the Mediterranean Ocean. So here you get the limitation of data a bit, but it was fun to play around with the map. If you click select, you can see, no, select on the bottom in the projects. Okay, then you can see a marker. So because Istanbul is a major city, you probably have a bunch right there because we're just seeing the first 15. Longitude and latitude search. As I said, this is sort of the rough prototype because I know nobody actually knows what longitude or latitude they're at. If we put the latitude, I think around 40. Yeah, and longitude, maybe around 10. Let's see where we end up. Okay, so now we get ones in Italy. And if you click select again, you'll see exactly, and maybe check the next one. Okay, so again, Rome is a big city. Oh, there's one not in Rome. Okay. Yeah, so this is just another way of exploring the data. If we could clean up or get the data a bit cleaner, then hopefully you could combine this with search. But because of the problems between where they said the project was located like country-wise versus address versus longitude and latitude, it wasn't really good enough to incorporate in the actual search. But yeah, that was another interesting angle to look at with the data we had available to us. Okay, now I think we're going back to Rossini to wrap up.
Hi. Okay. Yeah, so we wanted to mention the styling because we used Bootstrap for styling to make it really clean and simple and do it really quickly and make it accessible and easy to read. And we use the color yellow because it's quite a popular color for charities and it kind of symbolizes warmth and giving and to put people in a giving mood, more or less. So we wanted to talk about some of the challenges that we had when doing this. Because we had such a huge database, it was great that we had so much of information and resources to get it from, but at the same time it was very heavy. So we had problems like when we were deploying to Heroku, our database was too big for the free space that was allocated. And we had a lot of merge conflicts and then conflicts between Windows and Mac not accepting the huge database. But at the end, like we made it through and it was really great to work on this project. And I think it was really challenging for all three of us because we had never done any coding before this boot camp. So it was like a really intense ride and we had a lot of ideas and things that we wanted to pack. So I think the biggest challenge for our group was we couldn't implement all the features that we wanted to and get all the ideas working perfectly. We were doing things like up to the last minute trying to get as much done as we could. But I think it's a big success that everything's working and it's deployed. And if anyone wants to find a charity, you're welcome to go to our charity app on Heroku. And I think we're really proud that we can send this to our friends and family, and it's an actual working app using like a huge database that's respectable and up to date. So we want to thank CodeOp for giving us this great opportunity and all our instructors and mentors for helping us and having patience during our panic. And I want to thank my teammates as well because it's been great working with you guys. And yeah, that's it. Also a bit sad that it's coming to an end. And that's all. Thank you.
Fantastic. So before I just make a few comments, we have a question on the chat, and I actually encourage everyone who has questions for either of the groups to make them, okay? Because that's the time to answer. So the first question is from Karma. Do you want to make the question yourself? Okay, so basically she's asking for all the groups, do you think that you would work in a different way if you would be at the same place? And how do you think that this could be?
Thank you.
Well, I think if you're in the same place, maybe you, you know, it's a little bit easier to talk in between and get to know each other. And like, I don't know, but it would barely be any different because we were on Slack all the time. It was almost like we were in the same place. Like we were just talking all the time. So yeah. I don't know if it would be different actually.
Sorry.
Yeah,
I think it would have been more fun. Sorry. I think oh no, I say I think it would have been more fun and like less stressful, and maybe we would have less tech problems if we were all in the same place and not like having a breakdown by ourselves when something stopped working.
Okay, thank
we
you.
also, sorry, no, I was going to say that we also coded along on Zoom a lot, especially in the last days while we were deploying and everything. So that was exactly if we were in the same room, basically.
Okay. Thank you. And how did you decide to make the test plan of your apps or your webs?
How we decided the idea, or
no, the test plan on your web, on your app in the first case. Who decides what to test and how to do this kind of test?
Well, for us, the way we worked was we had the Trello board, and then we had each feature on a card, and then when one of us finished a feature, we put it in the test list, and then the other person would test and review the code. And then if they found issues, then they would report back, and the person who worked on it could improve or fix the issues. Okay. That's how we did it.
Okay, that's right. Thank you. That's all on my side.
Anybody else has any other question? This is the time to ask. Anybody from the other groups? No? Anything? You can also ask questions between the two groups if you want. All right. So, okay, I'm going to be quick. All right. Basically, I'm speechless. We all saw what you did, and it's amazing. It's just fantastic. The two groups, you went really above and beyond, and it's. We say that this happens all the time because it does happen all the time, but it's surprising that we can keep on saying this. I'm just going to read a few notes, silly stuff, but basically, I like the two products. It's two products that you could actually use. Those are like real apps. I could borrow tools, and I can. We were talking about charity the other day. Who was it? We have a former student of us, Fernanda. She's from Guatemala, and she's actually traveling there soon. And they're having this problem with the hurricanes at the moment. You know that it's a high hurricane season, all of this. And she was asking for funds for a charity that she was helping. And she actually sent us the link, and it was like, hey, this belongs in the charity. Anyway, that's just a detail. But I do like how those are not just an app for a development bootcamp, but sort of a real product. You went to the product management part a bit, no? And I do like this very much. I don't know. I have many notes, and I don't want to read them all. But basically, I like everything. I like all the technologies that you used. This doesn't happen all the time. We do show you a lot of stuff, and then you pick and you decide what to use. And basically, you used everything. Everything that I had, you just used it. Not that I had it, that I mentioned. And not only this, but you used things that I didn't even mention, or I didn't tell you how to do it. And that's probably what I'm not proud because I didn't do it. So it's something that you did, but you should be proud that you did on your own. You did all of this on your own. You pushed yourselves. Each one of you used, obviously, both apps are live in Heroku. That's super good. Both of you used SQLize. You've been using PayPal, geolocation, and Google Maps integration. Obviously, migrations and seats to the next level, I would say. So I'm super happy with this. You've used Passport, which we know it wasn't as easy as it was supposed to be. You've used, I've just written down Mulder for the image uploads. I didn't show you this. You used Tailwind, you know how much I love this. You used D3. When I saw, she told me yesterday, so we were talking with Shainar, and she was working on the D3 thing. And we didn't do the lecture. Actually, at some point she asked for the slide or the repository, and I just sent it. And that's it, I didn't do anything else. And now I realize that it's a scatter plot and it's working, and it's in React environment, which my code wasn't, because my code was sort of agnostic. It was just HTML and JavaScript. It was not integrated with React, and all that job, it's something that you did. And basically, this goes for all the technologies that you used. You realized for the charity app that obviously the API was too slow. and you had to figure a way of improving the user experience. Obviously, you cannot wait 5 seconds for just the search, right? And that took a lot of work, because it is a lot of work. But you imported this from XML to JavaScript or JSON, then you created the series and the files that sit or fit the series, and then you run those. I mean, the amount of work both in the backend and front end it's amazing. There's a lot of things that I know that not everybody right now in the audience was able to appreciate. It's those sort of little things that only the person's coding know how much time they take, and it's not just things that work from zero. I'm just thinking about hidden things like the calendar with the hidden days on the tool sharing app. So that's not nothing. You need to make the database request. Is it this book? Then I need to integrate this into whatever JavaScript library you're using for the front end, display the calendar, all of this. A lot of little things that I sort of realized that, just congratulations on everything. Notifications. I like how both of you code for the thing that I call the error first, which is, hey, you're not logged in, you cannot borrow the tool or whatever, and then you get a notification, or at least you get an error message at some time. That's super good. I love how you overcome the MySQL distance calculation issue that we had just yesterday. I'm talking about the tool sharing app. They were using a very nice modern MySQL function that lets you calculate distances between points. And by the way, both groups used the distance approach and recalculating with the map, which is so with the charity app, that you can choose the latitude and the longitude and just display the pin for this. So in MySQL 8.0, we have that distance versions, which is not available on the ClearDB add-on. And then you just figure out to find another way and install something else and make it work, just make it work. And I like this because that's what the developer does. Okay, you basically, it's all problems, and your job is to figure your way out and just Google and see what you can find, and then figure it out. Anyway, I like all the good practices, obviously, that you followed both in front and the back end. We've talked about this before because you did it before, but it's still good. Separating the API layer on the front end in a separate file. In the case of the charity app, also, you were searching from the original API up until some point, like this week. And basically, since this was separated in a separate file, eventually you could, when all the database was working locally, you could sort of switch the API endpoint to the external one to your own endpoint. And all the rest, the components are sort of agnostic to where the data comes from. They don't care. This is just want the data and display the data. That's why we separate on those layers, and that's very well done. I mean, okay, so that's it. I cannot say anything else. This was fantastic. Both apps were just, I mean, super good. I'm super happy. Yeah, the last, my last note is D3. Oh my God, so proud. That's the last note that I have. Okay. All right. I think we can wrap up. Thank you very much. Obviously to all the staff at CodeOp. Thank you to, well, actually, first thank you to the 5 of you. Okay, this has been a pleasure to work with you, because I like how you just need me for the little things and then you figure it all on your own. This is fantastic, and you've made me enjoy all the Flash lectures and all of this. I just enjoy doing them in those environments. So it's been a fantastic experience for me. Thank you all the staff. Obviously, thanks Emefa and Taina. We cannot do this without them, basically. So thanks. And that's it. And she's not here because she had a meeting, but I always like to thank Katrina, because she's the one. Without her, basically, none of us would be here. So big thanks to her. That's it. That's a wrap up for me. If anybody wants to say anything, yeah, all good. So enjoy the rest of the day. Just take it easy. Maybe you can stop working for a bit. Enjoy the weekend, whatever you want to do. We're not done yet. We have one more week. Okay, it's a bit different, but still one more week to go, and it's a lot of work to do. So I'll see you Monday. Big congratulations to everybody. Seriously, this was fantastic. Good weekend. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.